Welcome back, Picklers! We're back in the dungeon for another episode here of OPA Unfiltered. We got Downsview's top pickleball player here, Daniel, and another co-host here, Max Shore-Schaeffler, back out of his dungeon. How did you crawl out of the dungeon, buddy?
It was a long drive over here today.
That's what I like to hear. We made it. So, Daniel, what do we have going on here this week?
For episode 6 this week, we got a little intro on weekly pickleball news. What's happening in the industry. Going to just keep you guys informed. And then we're going to hop into our topic of the week, which is tournament prep. Everything mental, everything physical, everything to do with your partner. The season's upon us. Let's teach you how to do it properly. And then lastly, our first Q&A session from all our viewers globally. I think we even got some people calling in from Antarctica, some whales or something. I don't even know what's going on there. So without further ado, let's get started.
Here we go. So, not a lot of tournaments going on since we last got off here. But, there is a big tournament going on this coming weekend. Mr. Chow is on the road in the mountains in Banff. The elevation is getting higher, and Mr. Osborne's by his side. And there's going to be some competition out in Red Deer.
Yeah.
What are we feeling out in Red Deer?
I actually think Jess and Corey are playing mixed together, so
wow.
That'll be a little interesting combo there.
It depends how much sushi they're going to have. I saw they were by the sushi train. I've been there when I was younger, and I gave Chow a little message, say, I'm kind of jealous. And, yeah, we'll see how he's carbing up for a big weekend.
Yeah, and I follow Kim Layden on Instagram. She's playing with the young guy, McConnor, I believe, 15-year-old. So that'll be interesting. You got the high IQ with that young speed,
Who knows?
Great combo there, I think.
Yeah, in other news, we got Joola, making some moves in the industry, kind of flexing a little. What happened, Mark?
Yeah, 11 companies, I believe, filed for patent infringement under the International Trade Commission, I believe. So they're not seeking any monetary, payouts from this lawsuit. It's more so stopping these companies from shipping their products out of China, which will be interesting to see how it plays out. Might take some time, but will it stand? Will it hold up? Right?
I think with all that time too, after let's say it takes 14 months, 12 months, whatever it may be, are we going to be on to the next paddle thing? Probably
Gen 12,
4,
baby.
Yeah, whatever it is. Right?
Gen 12 laser
producer, whatever you're doing out there in the back, we're going to be on Gen 12 by next year.
I'm already working on the actual design of that. I'm carving it out with Claude on a daily basis right now. So be prepared for that to launch soon.
Let's go. And let's hop right into it. We got the topic of the week. Tournament prep. This is the season. Summer's upon us. Indoor tournaments, outdoor tournaments in the U.S. Actually, before we even start, hey, U.S. Open just happened, eh? A nice outdoor tourney. Not too small a tourney either. What's the feedback there? What are you guys hearing?
I hear a lot that always hard to see brackets and actually watch it.
Well, you don't follow pickleball then?
Who knows about pickleball then?
At the same time, they have to manage over 3,000 players. So yeah. I could see, whether they're trying to either save fees or just they find it easier to work with their own algorithm. Not a fan either. But what results did you see? Anyone who played personally?
Yeah, me and Anna Leigh go way back. It is still surprising, though, that she won with her mom again. It's got to get to a point where even their APP players playing in it, but they got to beat them eventually, no?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, especially, how much has her mom even been playing?
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I don't think she plays that much. I think it's more training part.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Also, one thing I'd say is the replay system. So I heard in all the pro events that one thing that the pros were a little bit frustrated about, some hooks on the court,
Megan
right?
Fudge one, that was pretty bad.
Crazy calls over there, and just the technology needs to be there, especially if you're calling it the U.S. Open, right?
The ball's just getting so fast too. I don't blame the players for missing it, but you're playing for all that money, you kind of want to have some line call systems in place.
What do you guys think about having a different ball for doubles versus singles in an event like that, where you're playing outdoors, Florida heat, right? You're already got a fast game, especially for singles. Lifetime ball is even crazier and hotter. Do you think they should be going with a Franklin for singles and then the lifetime for doubles?
Just to extend the rallies for singles? Yeah, I mean, the lifetime ball, well, obviously they weren't playing with that at U.S. Open, right?
It was all Franklin.
Yeah, all Franklin. Yeah, it was all Franklin at U.S. Open, but just like looking at other results, so Ben Johns losing to J-Dub in singles, like 11-7, 11-8, I think. Obviously, historically, previous to the lifetime ball, Ben John's success in singles was much better. Ever since the lifetime ball was introduced, he can't really play his cat and mouse high IQ game anymore. It's just like J-Dub doesn't even have that much power. He's not known for ground strokes and that, and he's beating him in easy and two.
I was watching some of the points. That guy came with a plan. J-Dub. He's so composed on the court. He's like the most monotone person I've ever seen. His his shoulders are just nice and low. He's very relaxed, and I saw just couldn't read where he was going because he waited till the last second to commit to any shot.
Let me ask you a question about that in regards to staying composed and just having no emotion. In terms, if you were a brand and you were looking to sponsor J-Dub, do you think he's like ROI wise and brandability? Like, is that why he hasn't been signed yet? What's your take on that?
I think that, like at the end of the day, you're spending so much money on people. They got to have a personality. They got to have some sort of opportunity to provide that ROI and provide that difference with their personality on the court.
Riley Roos, can you stop laughing in the back there and having a personality?
But yeah, I think maybe it did. I don't know. Again, some pros sell paddle, some don't. Not saying he's not a ridiculously exceptional player. He's top of game, always kind of has been. Remember that one time he used the original carbon paddle and came out of nowhere and beat Ben? That was like the start of this whole fiasco with kind of paddle technology in a way. But yeah, maybe you're right. I'd say that the U.S. Open, just so you guys know, is just the mecca of pickleball. Everyone from every walk of life come. Small pools, a ton of players, thousands and thousands of players come. Thousands and thousands of games are played, and we hope to be there next year. It wouldn't be fair if Max and Mark team up. I think I think Monroe and if you guys didn't play mixed, I think Monroe and Roos Van Riek, I think they played together. I think you would have bageled them with whatever partner you guys choose. So.
Without further ado, let's get into some more tournament season prep. So
physical.
Let's do a little stretch.
Oh,
yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, we're ready to go. First thing.
Yeah.
So tournament prep. Let's talk about off-court performance. What kind of workouts are you doing? What kind of stretching? What does your off-court routine look like if you want to be the best, perform the best, and most importantly, let your body hold up? Because we just saw Riley walk down the stairs here to get into the dungeon, and he didn't look too hot. So he's going to take some tips here.
Might be the opposite. I think Riley is the most jacked producer of all of us here. So definitely you got to have that conditioning, because if you're 100% when you walk into a tournament and there's hours and hours of play that you're having and lots of games, especially in singles, and especially if you're doing multi-division, you got to be able to be the same individual on the court on the first meet than the finals game. And you know what? Maybe even better, because you're obviously warmed up. But if you're failing and losing because you just don't have gas in the tank, that really sucks. It's something you could do. Something you could do about it. I'm not saying go to the gym and squat 350 pounds, right? But I'm saying that you got to commit to you're athletes at a certain level, especially at the open level. You're an athlete. You got to act like one.
So if you're off court doing, you're probably doing around 3 to 4 strength training or kind of agility work mixed with some explosiveness weekly based on, do you play singles or doubles, right? How much energy do you have left in the tank to obviously train 4 hours a day and drill and keep your actual on-court play up?
I think with that too, the biggest part is like the recovery portion. So yes, workout, I would even say 2 to 3 times a week, you're probably good. And then mixing in more drilling and playing, probably 4 times on court a week.
Yep.
But after all those sessions, it has to be like stretching.
ice bath, stretching, sauna,
The roller.
everything.
You can't play if you're injured, right?
Every little device you can get is 0.1% advantage you need to stay healthy and beat your opponents with this busy schedule that players have now between MLP, PPA, this. If, it's insane. Like, right?
One thing to be said as well, not physical prep, but more so the physical requirement when you're in tournaments. Mark has said time and time again, you have to be consuming calories and consuming the proper calories during tournament days to be able to compete and keep your blood sugar levels up. You're burning a ton of calories when you're on the court, depending on if it's indoor or outdoor as well. I know you've asked your partners, and it may have been a bit of a downfall in the past that you wanted your partners to commit to. Bring some healthy options that are quick carbs, and that won't keep you sleepy as well on the court.
So candy's not good in between games?
Listen, this is the best exercise you could do, right? The curl to mouth, right?
You're Mr. Candy. If you're eating it all day, sure, but eventually there's going to be a little crash, right? So you need to keep that sugar high going throughout to the finals, hopefully, right?
I could make that work.
Yep.
So, personally, with my experience playing leading up to tournaments, let's talk about like I personally don't like working out like 2 weeks up to the tournament. I want to focus more on my on-court performance, but obviously you need to work in that physical, explosive and kind of weight regimen to keep your body strong. But up to 2 weeks before, I personally don't like working out. I want to focus more on stretching and keeping my body loose rather than tightening my muscles. So maybe a little bit of more of like dynamic stretching to get sweaty and
plyometrics.
And stay loose, body weight stuff. But I'm not doing push-ups. I don't like when my chest feels tight, and then I think it affects my
Your swing path?
It just keeps me like constrained. I just feel like it's a little chest workout, and then you're like go and train. You're not at that same level because I'm a really touchy feely kind of player, right?
Yeah. So let's move on to the next topic. We talked about physical prep, right? It's important. It's something people should do, both for performance and injury prevention, from amateur all the way to pro level. Actually, more so in amateur, in my opinion, especially if you're, maintaining a high level of play in your older years. You have to be maintaining that.
Comment if you're interested in creating a blueprint. Comment explosiveness. And we're going to come up with a blueprint that teaches you how to be explosive and show you the right workouts to do that are just body weight. And it's something that I've been asked many times, and I think I'm a little bit motivated now to do it since I've gotten injured and sprained my MCL and have a torn rotator cuff. I think it's about time that I focus on it.
Don't listen to him. There you go. Let's move on here. Let's talk about the tournament skills and training. This is obviously a huge emphasis here. Everyone, this is the number one thing. Oh, I want to drill. I have no one to drill with. Oh, I hate drilling. It's not stimulating for me. I just want to play. Oh, how much should we be drilling or playing? When I'm drilling, what am I even doing, right? Max, I want to give you the floor to start here. What's your thought on this?
I think it's very important to be drilling, especially with intent. So you play some rec games. Oh, I can't get to the line. Okay, well, don't even start warming up your dinks. Just go straight into thirds. And then work it into with thirds and play out that full point. Actually going through the transition zone and then playing it out. Rather than, hey, we're going to dink for 30 minutes, then we're going to do resets, then we're going to hit drives, and we'll be done. You need that game aspect.
Get really good at each individual skill getting you to the kitchen line.
Exactly. And with that, too, I don't like to just drill before a tournament. I want to have some like fun rec games leading up to it, just to like keep it relaxed and nothing too serious. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one thing I see though is when players switch from that drilling mentality into the kind of competitive rec game to go into the tournament feeling prepared and like, oh, we were close or we beat these guys or whatever. But when the rec game button turns on, they're trying shots that they would never use in a real tournament. Like the two-handed backhand dink's not your shot. Why are you even dinking with two hands, right? Like, so if you're not comfortable using a shot, you need to go back to the drawing board, drill that shot constantly, and then maybe use it in rec games. And if it's not there, don't even think about using it in that tournament. I see too many times people are playing with different shots, making countless errors when that's not their shot. They haven't perfected it. just go with something that you're more comfortable and consistent with.
Yeah. And I think lastly, I just want to kind of give some concrete advice for everyone out there on how to structure this. In my opinion, book an hour of court time before your 1 or 2 hour play session, right before. You're going to do 30 minutes of a single or two skills maximum. Then you're going to take those skills after you're drilling them. You're going to go into a skinny singles game, right, with your partner for 20 minutes, right, before you're playing, to just do it in a world with a little bit less margin of error. And then you're going to hop into a game when you're 100% at your highest in terms of your capability with that specific skill that you're either trying to drill consistency or just a new technique, and then put it into a game. Because, yeah, you could drill all you want, and then you go into a great game, brain fart, don't even use the skill, and it's a waste of everyone's time. So this way, it's the perfect blend, in my opinion, in reality between drilling and translating that to actual gameplay.
Yeah, it's more intentional. You're focusing and narrowing down the specific skill, and if you want to see improvement in that specific area, you need to be intentional with that skill. So it's the same thing. If you want to get better at something, you need to kind of pick the pieces apart and focus on those little things in order to get you to the next level, right? Moving on, the drilling. Obviously, we can talk about it all day. If you're not going to do it and you're just going to play rec games, but you want to play tournaments, your opponents that drill constantly and get those extra reps in will always be, performing at a more consistent level than you. It just, when the pressure's on, everybody feels it. Doesn't matter if you're playing PPA or 3-0. You still feel pressure, and under pressure, your technique your technique cracks, and you need to have the thousands of reps in order for your kind of mold to stay intact while you're under pressure.
Yeah, I've had a producer try and get me out to drill the past couple of weeks, so I'm definitely motivated to get my butt out there. And you feel really good afterwards as well. You feel accomplished. It's hard. It's something you got to really commit to. It's a commitment to the sport at least during this tournament season.
What skill are you focusing on?
Okay, for me, 100%, I'm going to focus on my resets and my thirds. They're a little too high. And also just keeping that composure and aggressiveness at the net to know when to take something out of the air versus take that step back. You only do that or are able to do that and learn that skill, which you have to maintain that decision in a split second through repetition. So that's something I know I have to work on besides a million other things because I'm washed up. But with that being said, let's take that. You're drilling, hopefully with a partner, hopefully with one you're going to play with, maybe not. Doubles prep versus, you drilling yourself. How important it is and how should you be prepping with your partner, maybe on the same side, because it doesn't make chemistry. 1 + 1 only equals 2 if you guys are playing together. 1 + 1 maybe doesn't equal 2 if you just can't gel together. If you're not, it's not natural.
We touched on this before about if you and your partner want to kind of drill, but 2 + 1 drilling's amazing. So 3 players total. You and your partner working on patterns on different sides of the court, with one player saying, okay, we're going to isolate you. You're pretty good. You're at around our level, or maybe you're lucky and you can find someone a bit better that can expose your weaknesses. I think 3-player drills are really fun. They keep it nice and the flow keeps moving along and the pace is just right. So
it feels more like a game too. Rather like when you're just dinking cross court and someone pulls a ball really wide on you, like you're never really going to pull that ball all the way cross court again. But with the 3-person, then you can just put it across and it just opens up the game a little bit more.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
That one we did with Rizzo a couple weeks ago, that 2-on-1, I think it was actually a really great, I hadn't done that style before where it was Max and I on one side, Rizzo on the other. But Rizzo, because he was playing mixed, wanted to get really good with just playing the left side. So he would even do the serve from the right side, but then shift to the left. So he basically had a dedicated side that we could only hit to that left side. So he could practice all of his reps. He could get, okay, I want you to push, that return, that second shot back to the middle, or push me wide, and then play out the sequence from there. And it was a very dedicated drill, but it felt more game-like. And I think it actually had an intensity to it that was more similar to a game, but you're getting those constant reps because, okay, it didn't work. Okay, try it again. Ask them to, you can even say, hey, I want to really work on X shot, keep feeding it there to me, because then that allows me to see how does that sequence play out.
And he gets so many reps from that same side. He knows every scenario, right? So I think it's very important and beneficial to incorporate into your drilling. You know, and speaking of that, Rizzo started playing how many years ago? Two or three?
Yeah.
2 or 3, so fairly new. When I think about, you know, the time that we started back in around, you know, we were just messing around in 2019, started taking it a bit more seriously in 2020 maybe. I think I signed up for my first ever tournament. It was 2020 4-0 men's doubles. Me and Dave Catman Katz, shout out Dave, one of the founders of Kitchen Blockers, with Brad. So Dave and I had played our first tournament ever. You know, we just knew what we knew because we played in our own ecosystem. We didn't really drill. We were just playing games. So thinking about translating it now to nowadays, the player pool in 4-0 even is so much larger. It's so easy to find drilling partners. But one thing I always recommend is when players get stuck, they don't want to drive out there. Oh, an hour drive? That's like me taking a flight to freaking New York, right? Like if you want to get better and you want to see the quickest improvement, turn on your car and drive up one of the highways and play against new players that you don't play with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why tournaments are so important.
Yeah.
Because you just see different styles of the game, different people, different strengths, different weaknesses. They're going to exploit something different to you.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen it, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, what shots this person hitting? Like, that's insane. I don't see those patterns when I play in the same 4 people I play with every week at 5 o'clock, right? So, actually, so the first tournament we played, it was the Jamaica Open at the North York Peanut Plaza tennis bubble. Dave and I actually lost in the finals to Brendan Fung. I think he was 12 at the time. So Brendan, I don't know when he started playing, but definitely
When he was born.
He was insane. He was playing with Willie Ottawa. Shout out Willie, OG player. Still uses, I think, the same fat boy, from Guelph with Singleton. But Brendan at the time, you can see how when I think about that 4-0 tournament back then until now. His game has evolved, minus his forehand roll. He had to add so many new tricks to his game. Yeah. And those tricks and those skills did not happen overnight. Yeah. That was in 2020. Now we're in 2026. Maybe in 2025 or 4, I told Brendan, start working on your two-ended backhand. So if you're not going to add new tricks and stuff, the game is evolving at such a fast pace that eventually you're going to fall behind.
Yeah, I agree. And with that being said, it's mostly a doubles game. You got to be able to mesh together. Typically, like just classically, there's an A and there's a B, right? There's a player who's more aggressive and a player that gets picked on because they're not as good or not as aggressive, okay? It's not just the A's kind of role to try and find a way to assert themselves, but it's also the A's role to make sure that the morale on the court, right, in a high-pressure situation is kept high. If your partner who's getting picked on and just can't even hit a dink and their grip is too tight is failing, if you don't do something about it and pick them up,
think fast.
Pick them up and maintain that that vigor on your team, because it's all based off of the momentum that you have in pickleball. You could come back from a 10-0 to win the game fully. I've done it a bunch of times, right? But you could do that. But the A has to have that mental strength and that commitment to keeping a positive atmosphere, Mark, on the court. If you don't know, Mark and I, we go like this, just brotherly love. But even though
in tournaments we don't.
In tournaments we're unreal. I love tournaments. I haven't played in a while, but we should play together.
We test our cohesiveness in rec play and have our fair share of yelling and disagreements. But I think it's always a good learning lesson for when the pressure's on in the tournament. I'd rather lose a lot in rec play to teach us what you're doing wrong. Yeah. And kind of when the pressure's on the line, you can easily adapt and answer the different pieces that you're met with, and find answers to them quickly, because that's all it is. When the momentum changes, Max, and you call a timeout, what's the first thing you do when you call a timeout in a tournament?
Probably grab some water.
And after that?
Figure out the next strategy.
Right? And if that strategy doesn't work, the game's over.
Yeah.
Right? Like they figured you out. They adapted to your new strategy, and they were just better
this
at
is
that
a puzzle.
point. Right?
I'll go back to when I was helping coach and manage the East Toronto Smash with, again, I think we talked about this, Kim Layton and Christina Chin. Just two of the most coachable strategic players I've really ever seen, and they were dominating for so many years because of their history in pickleball. But then you got these young guns come in who were just killer tennis players, right? These players were easy to kind of like pick. I remember Kim was queen of the Ernie, and Chinner, or Christina knows Chinner, she would roll her forehand dink and just put a lot of pressure on them with a lot of pace, and then try and catch them with like a short hop, and then Kim would come in and Ernie them. It worked like kind of trapping the players, and that sort of strategy, having that and being able to adapt is so vital. It's a chess match. You got to see what clicks. You got to see what works, and you have to figure it out before it's 10-0. Okay, 100%. So I think it's very important. Come in, a couple of points I'd give our viewers here. One, come in with clear rules. Do not deviate from your role unless it's part of a new strategy. Pretend Mark's the A and I'm the B, and what if we switch it up and create a little bit of chaos, but it's a known thing? That's a great strategy, but don't be confused. Who has the middle? Whose role is what? Stay in your lane if it benefits the team. The court is not 50-50. It's whatever the strategy is percentage, okay? Mm-hmm. Two, make sure that you're keeping each other's morales as high as possible at all times, okay? This is a grind. You come back from 10-0, you got to be able to stick out the mental game. It's a different beast from rec play. It's high pressure.
I think if you have confidence on the court and both partners have a high morale, it adds 20% speed to your forehand drive.
That's quoted. That is a direct scientific study being done on that, correct?
But so personal experience here. So I had probably one of the last tournaments I played of mixed doubles. My partner and I had gone up 3 games, had a super strong start, got to our 4th game, getting into the quarters, felt good, but after about the 3rd point, I saw a shift in my partner's eyes. Like I just saw a look change. Like that was totally different than anything else that I saw. And I started like, okay, what do I have to do to get this person out of this funk? Mm-hmm. Like what's the thing that you've seen helps the most in that scenario where you can visibly see that your partner is like, they're not doing well. Like something's shifted from how you guys were playing before, and it's hurting you. Like you just start losing every point. They're missing shots that they normally make. Like what's your go-to thing in that scenario to like pull that person out of that hole? Or is there nothing that you can do at that point?
Personally, I like to keep it light. I like jokes, whatever it may be. You could talk about what you're going to have for dinner. Like it's got to be light and fun. Or once it gets too serious, then it just kind of goes down that slippery slope where it's hard to come back from that stuff. But everybody's so different. So having that conversation with your partner before the tournament, like what gets you going. And you can kind of see when you've played with players through tournaments, like what works for them, what doesn't work for them. But a lot of the partners I've had in the past, it's like super light and fun, and that makes it easier.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, listen, if you run into a roadblock in a tournament and it's more of a mental barrier and you can't execute your shots because, you have a mental block, I think, number one, call a timeout immediately, of course. I see too many tournaments and I watch a lot of teams and they say one more, just one more point. It's like me at the casino, just one more hand. Next thing you know, you walk out of there and you have no money left, right? Yeah. So it's really very important to have a maximum before the game starts. If we lose 3 or 4 points in a row, we're calling our timeout. That's the strategy. You have 2 timeouts a game, you got to use them early. If you let that point slip away, now you can come back from 10-0, but you've let it creep far too long and you haven't handled the situation and switched your strategy early enough. So I think in terms of dealing with the mental roadblock, it's you need to have the right amount of reps with your partner and right amount of simulation games to understand if your cross-court dinks are popping up and they're not working, what's another strategy we can employ to still find some patterns that are effective but avoid going to that cross-court partner if I'm getting beat there. Yeah. Right?
I think the biggest that's really insightful. And I think just 2 points here I could give. One, Tiger Woods, even though he's going through some crazy stuff right now, had a rule, the 10-second rule. How I get this going in my game, or I suggest in other people's game. After every point, whether you're on a high or on a low, you have to go to the back of the court, tap your paddle against the fence, and once you do that, you reset. You never want to be at an 11 out of 10 when it comes to your intensity, because you're going to go for some crazy dumb shot, and you never want to be obviously at a 1. You want to maintain a steady state 7.5-ish out of 10 in terms of your just steady state. You're flowing through this cruising down the highway, nice and steady. Never put too much pressure on yourself in the game point as well, because you try and go for something just to finish it. I just want to finish it.
Then your grip goes to 7 out of 10.
Yeah. And then lastly, I think one of the other things you could do is, besides the 10-second rule, is make sure that you and your partner are on the same page in terms of in rec play, being able to like kind of bring each other up. I know some people don't play dumb pickleball. You got to start playing dumb pickleball. You got to stop overthinking. Oh, technical. Oh, I'm going to make this shot. Oh, never mind. You don't do that. What you do is to get that noise out of your head. And a lot of people have a lot of noise in their head in tournaments. Only focus on your footwork. If you focus on your footwork and just even like focusing on like your core bracing, it takes the noise away in your head and focuses on something physical that you could control quite easily, so that you're making shots subconsciously. You're playing subconscious pickleball in the way that you know how to.
And you made a great point there. If the players who have the luxury of having footage of them and watching, past footage of kind of their demeanor and how they act after losing a point, there is a big correlation with if you are showing emotion and you're down on yourself after a point. In pickleball, the next point starts 10, 15 seconds after. You're still thinking about missing that shot. How are you going to focus on executing the next point? So it's very important to kind of train your mind and to really delete these errors out of your mind as fast as possible, so you can start focusing on how you're going to strategize and improve yourself for the next point and what the goal is of this point, right?
Yeah. I always say a game is never won or lost on one point. If you make an unforced error, okay, who cares? They needed 10 more of those for you to win.
Yeah.
Like, refresh, get back to it. You can go win another point. And then when you're down, you're not going to win 5 points in a row from a crazy drive.
That's what you think.
That's
That's
you
me
need
and
to build on that and get a few points and just
that's me
grind
and
it out.
Donnie, Darren Wang. Just that's all we do. Anyways, great tips, everyone. I think our viewers are gonna see some success on the podium and probably tag us because they use some of that sort of stuff.
Shout out to Dennis for that question, by the way. Thank you, Dennis. Did great at the U.S. Open, bringing home some.
Congrats.
Yeah,
Big 4-0 in men's, 4-0 men's silver. So amazing job. And,
At Journey of a Pickleballer on Instagram. He's a huge advocate of OPA. I know he has 7,000 kitchen blockers as well, one for every hour of the day. And so some of the questions you gave in, we actually turned into segments that we felt strong about. But some of the questions that you brought in, we're going to just tackle now. So again, moving forward, send us your questions. We're gonna be doing a little bit of Q&A right now on some that we saw. So without further ado, producer, what we got on the agenda today in terms of questions.
So first one that we got, it came in. Let me pull it up here. It was from, it was about court etiquette, actually. And this was from Robert. And Robert said, maybe a rundown on court etiquette, in brackets, shut the gate behind you, is a start. So I feel like this is an OPA Hamilton specific thing.
I think I saw this happen in real time.
we can let you answer that because Max, talking about court etiquette, he smashed a couple paddles over his knee, but he was always
Never
polite
happened.
enough to put them in the garbage.
Never happened.
You can go
Don't
ahead and
believe
answer
it.
that question.
I think there's two common things. I think the one thing people get frustrated the most with is ball. A lot of players new to the sport don't really understand the two common etiquettes, and they won't say anything. They'll just run behind you.
Ball, and it's like
Yeah.
they're staring into the clouds, and the ball just traveled through every court.
Yeah, two ways. That way, too, for sure. If you hit a ball onto their court and they just stand there, don't do anything. Or when they hit a ball onto your court and they just run behind you, grab it, and run back. It's like you need to call ball if you hit a ball onto somebody's court or they hit it onto your court.
If somebody hits a ball onto your court and they run and get it, should you be allowed to hip check them and go for knees? Like, should that be legal?
That would be a good rule. We
A
should
new type of
implement
pickleball.
it. And then I think the second thing is just waiting for a point to be done before you walk behind them or walk on the side of their court. And then lastly, for Robert's point, shut the gate behind you. You close your door when you go home. Close the gate behind you when you're going to your court.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, court etiquette, pretty simple. Just when the newer players, it's more so just learning and getting the hang of it very quickly. But always, if you have any questions and you're unsure and you feel like a bit weird out there, just ask. Like, what do we do here? What's the normal protocol here, right?
I think just to tie this into the tournament side of stuff in terms of etiquette, I think one of the big things too is, listen, we're only human. Not everyone has 20/20 vision. Some people are ethical, some aren't. And some people just don't know. If you don't know if a ball's in, it's in. Okay? And guess what? On the other end of things, in terms of like the mental side of stuff, do not let that get to you. You will lose the game because you thought a call was hooked, but honestly, these lines and the way you see pickleballs in and out is very skewed from different angles. Just take it as it is and use that as fuel to prove that you could beat them through any adversary calls. Okay? Mm-hmm. So make sure that that's part of the etiquette. Be fair on the court.
It's easier said than done because when shit gets hot in the kitchen, you got to control that adrenaline because you get that spike and you need something to bring it down, right? So it's happened to the best of us and obviously gone both ways, but I think that's very good advice on stay calm and composed and let the next point do the talking. Karma.
There we go. Producer, any more questions for the day?
Yeah, we've got one more from Mr. Corey Feinstein. Why is eye protection so important?
Yeah. Max, you start off with that one.
Sure. Eye protection is, I never think it's a problem when the ball's hit from the other side of the net coming to you. I think we're all somewhat quick enough where we can get out of the way or put a paddle on it. It's more when you're playing and it hits off your own paddle and jumps up. Happened to me twice last week, just coaching, and it just jumps off my paddle and hits me in the face.
Or your partners.
You're very,
or your partners as well.
You're very relaxed out there when you're coaching. You don't
Yeah,
realize that some of your students can rip it.
Oh yeah, or they just hit one off the side of their paddle and it goes right for your
These
face.
These paddles hit so hard nowadays compared to like even 5 years ago, where the reaction time is just not there. And to be honest, like, why risk it if it doesn't affect your playing? Like, there's lensless options, obviously, like kitchen blockers, which are a great option. You have lens options, ones for outdoor play as well, like high-end ones like Pila that are being used in the US a lot. I would say if you're starting the game, get used to it. And if you are a veteran of the game, just dabble in it to see if it works for you and you could bear with it, because if anything, if not for the protection side of stuff, but either on the amateur or the pro scene, it makes you a way more confident player at the kitchen line. And subconsciously, you might find yourself leaning into the kitchen a little more because nothing's going to happen to you. Maybe a couple jibs are going to be, on the line. But again, it just creates a little character, right?
I really wouldn't be shocked that it's like a real
mandate.
Yeah, mandate in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Once one injury happens, like on a pro scene or something, I think it's going to start.
Yeah, I know. Producer wears them religiously, right?
I always say pickleball is not cool enough to lose your eyesight over. Like, if you were to have an eye injury and someone was to ask you how and you say pickleball, they're going to laugh in your face. Like, I would make up anything, like bar fight, anything. I wouldn't tell them it's from pickleball. Yeah. But it's something that, like, I religiously play with kitchen blockers now. Like, I was working with my mom on the ball machine one time. We were working on hard volleys. That ball was shooting out at like 50 miles an hour. She had her paddle up in front of her, ramped up into her eye, no eye protection. I've never seen someone's eye get so red so quickly, and she was so lucky that she didn't get any like serious damage. But like, people are getting like ripped corneas, like especially with that Lifetime ball. Like, you get hit with that ball in the face, that thing's no joke. Like, the Franklin's got a little bit of give to it, but that Lifetime, if you get hit, it's not going to be a fun time.
Yeah, and speaking of, we're not cool enough. Pickleball is not cool enough not to wear eye protection. I'm pretty sure the name pickleball, people thought it was from a dog, but I'm pretty sure it's from being the pickle which is one of the last place I think in a rowing competition. So it's technically called loser ball. So without further ado, from these three losers plus the fourth one back there, thank you for listening to us today on our rambles.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And be tuned. We're going to do some more giveaways and fun stuff. So stay tuned for Mr. Riley reviews. And
the winner.
Oh, yeah.
Before we go.
Oh my God.
Hold on.
Holy moly.
Okay. So, our first giveaway for the RPM V1 16 millimeter, we have, drum roll, Ricer Caker.
Let's go.
Congratulations.
Is that his YouTube name?
I believe that is producer. Do you know, did they say who that was from a name point?
Nothing there, but we will be commenting back on YouTube. So if this is your profile, make sure to send us a message on Instagram, and we will get you your choice of V1 RPM paddle.
And thank you for listening to the end. See you guys next week.
See ya.
OPA out.